مجمع الأندلس التعليمي، تعلم عصري ملهم بهوية وطنية وقيم إسلامية.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته جميعا طلاب مدارس الأندلس الخاصة للبنين. نجدد التهنئة بشهر رمضان الكريم، ونجدد نقل نصائح وزارة الصحة للحفاظ على سلامتكم، ونمر إلى درسنا الذي هو من سلسلة المراجعات لما أخذنا من قواعد. So today we will revise what we have seen about reported speech. Just to remind you, we saw that when someone speaks, let's take this example, I want to go out. We can use the direct speech, in which we keep the speech as it was said by the speaker. I want to go out, said Ahmed. I am learning about the reported speech. He said, a colon, inverted commas, I am learning about the reported speech. That was our first choice, but we said that we can make some changes and we can use the reported speech. We said that we can distinguish between a reported speech using a reporting verb in the present simple and in the simple past. Ahmed says he wants to go out. Note here that the tense of the main verb in the sentence said by Ahmed is the same, but we just changed the pronouns. So let's remember our initial question during this series about reported speech. It was how to do it, and we resorted to some references in the internet, mainly found in www.slideplayer.com or slideshare.net. So, what is or when to use a reported speech? We use it when we want to tell another person about a conversation or a dialogue that took place in the past. Example, a telephone call, news, or a story that someone told us. So here you have some examples about reported or indirect speech, and try yourself to extract and to get the rules from the examples in front of your eyes. You can pause the video. You have a second table that can help you. And now to the rules we have seen. We said that we need changes from the direct to the reported or the indirect speech. The verb tense should change. The tense of the verb should change when the reporting verb is in a past tense, and usually it is the case. We also need to change the personal pronouns and the possessive. In addition, we have to change the demonstrative and of course the time and place expressions. Are you ready to take each of these separately? So let's start with the verb tense. The present simple will be replaced by the simple past. the present continuous will be replaced by the past continuous. The simple past, and the present perfect are both replaced by the past perfect. The past continuous and the present perfect continuous are both replaced by the past perfect continuous. The past perfect and the past perfect continuous don't change. We keep the same tense. The future simple will is replaced by the conditional or, generally, would. Be going to is replaced by was or were going to. We also saw that the modal verbs change. Can is replaced by could, might replaces may, had to replaces must, would replace shall or will. And now let's remember what we have seen about the time and place expressions. Now is replaced by then, ago by before, that day replaces today, the following day or the day after will appear in the sentence instead of tomorrow. Yesterday is replaced by the previous day or the day before. Expressions like last week or last month or last year will be substituted by the previous week, the previous month, the previous year, or the week before, the month before, and the like. Next week, next month will appear in the reported speech as the following week or the following month or the week after. As far as place expressions are concerned, we should remind that there replaces here, that replaces this, that town instead of this town, those cities instead of these cities. So those replaces these. And now let's remember what we saw about reporting statements or affirmative or negative sentences that tell the reader about certain information or knowledge. We use the reporting verb. We can add that, but it's optional, so it can be omitted. Then the subject and the verb in the appropriate tense after the change. Let's take an example. The students are tired, said the teacher. This is the direct speech. The reported speech will appear as the following sentence. The teacher said the students were tired, not are. It's the funniest show I have ever seen, John told me. John told me that it was the funniest show she had ever seen. So, is replaced by was, and the present perfect is replaced by the past perfect. Of course, I was replaced by she. I think you have noticed that in each reported speech we need a verb, a reporting verb. And this is a list of the most common reporting verb, but you should remark that the most common ones are actually tell and say. Tell is generally followed by an indirect object, told me. So the verbs are and, admit, answer, argue, assure, boast about, complain to or about, deny, explain, grumble about, object to, observe, point out, promise, protest against or about, remark, replay. And you have to remember that after all these verbs you need a gerund, an ing form. And now let's remember what to do if we want to report a question. We need some introductory or reporting verbs like ask, wonder, would like or want to know. And we should distinguish between the yes and no questions and the WH questions. Let's begin with the yes or no questions. We said that we need a reporting verb, but also we need if or whether after the verb, and next come the subject and the verb. The order of reported question is subject plus verb as in statements, and not verb and subject as in questions. Let's have an example. Are you working these days? He asked. This is the direct speech. He asked if I was working those days. And pay attention, no question mark appears in the reported speech. Did you speak to John last night? She asked. The reported speech will appear as: she wanted to know if I had spoken to John the night before. And now to WH questions. When we want to report a WH question, we need, of course, a reporting verb. We need the same question word, or generally the same question word used, then the subject and the verb, and again the word order is the same as in statements and not in questions. No inversion is needed, and the examples below will clarify the idea. Where did you go last summer? Ahmed asked. Ahmed asked me where I had gone the previous summer. Notes. Here we have the WH question word. It comes after the reporting verb. Here we have an inversion. Did you go? Of course, you will be replaced by I. I will appear first, then the verb. The verb is in the past perfect because the main verb in the question was in the past simple did go. Last was, of course, replaced by the previous, and it appeared as he asked me where I had gone the previous summer. And now let's remember how to get the reported speech from an order or a command. The imperative means the order changes into to infinitive or not to infinitive. The example will clarify again the idea. He said to us, stay here. This is an order. He told us to stay there. The verb is kept as it is, and we began the order with to. The reporting verb must indicate the idea of order or command or obligation or advice. He said, "Don't mention that." He told me not to mention that. He ordered me not to mention that. Say that again, he said to me. He asked me to say that again. Or he ordered me to say that again. Some reporting verbs to use when reporting commands and orders are tell, ask, beg, invite, warn, order, command, instruct, and the like. Now, let's see again reporting suggestions. We normally use suggest plus a gerund, an ing form, or suggest that followed by a clause, like a sentence. Note that let's, why don't we, shall we, why not, and similar expressions which are used in suggestions are omitted. The idea will be clarified by the verb, by the reporting verb suggested. So let's take two examples. Let's go to the theater. Said or suggested Mary, for example. She suggested going to the theater. Or, shall we go to the theater? She suggested that we should go to the theater. Note that we used a clause here. It's a complete sentence embedded in the main sentence. And now let's finish with reporting requests. We use reporting verbs like beg, ask, demand, request, to or not to. Normally they should take an indirect object like me, you, him, etc. And it's worth mentioning that the word please is generally omitted. Let's take two examples. The first one, can I go out tonight, Mom? Please. The boy begged. The boy begged to go out that night. Another example, John, don't open the window, please, I said. I requested John not to open the window. Note there is no please. Left just some other verbs and structures to mention, like agree, refuse, offer, promise, threaten, which are followed by to infinitive, and accuse of, admit, apologize for, deny, insist on, which are followed by an ing form or a gerund. Let's take an example. Anne said, would you wait half an hour? Tom replied, all right. So Tom agreed to wait half an hour. Chris, would you lend me another 50 euros? David, no, I won't lend you any more money. So David refused to lend me any more money. Another example, you took my money. He accused her of taking her money. Try with the other examples and try to do the following exercises. Just pause the video to try to do each of these tasks. I'm waiting your trials. You can use the forum to send me your answers. And here we are at the end. Wish to see you so soon, safe and healthy. And Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.